I've been watching these recent Anekantavad videos and Inmendham's replies to them, and I think probably if anything this is more aimed towards Anekantavad than anything. Yeah, the I know nothing, you know nothing, we know nothing thing. It's very impressive when perhaps when you're young and you first hear that. But it really is, as far as I can understand it, it really is only a spanner in the works that you can throw, and it becomes quite tedious when people throw that spanner, in every conversation. When it's really just convenient, when one or other party feels that they're not getting their way. I know absolutely nothing about philosophy, or virtually nothing. But I do know, as far as I can tell, how science works, and I guess that's a kind of a philosophy. So, and empirically speaking, it has been reasonably successful. And I think that a lot of people, outside of science, even if they're quite supportive or fans of science, don't really understand it and how it works. Partly probably because of how it's taught to them at school. So when you have, say, two scientists on the telly talking about evidence for this and evidence for that, it's really a kind of they understand what they're saying to each other, but it's really a kind of a shorthand. They know they're not really saying evidence for this at all. What they're saying is that we've got this idea, this guess, and we've done all these experiments and or observations, experiments and observations designed specifically to give us the best possible chance of calling this idea bullshit, if in fact it is bullshit. So it's a process of invalidation rather than validation. And so if after strenuous effort and with as much fair-mindedness as possible, we can't invalidate an idea, then we say, well, we'll just say we'll call it a day. You know, until somebody comes up with something which that can, you know, and that's the standard. They're all happy with that. They're not at all perturbed by the idea that we can't actually know whether this idea is true or not. But we haven't been able to say that it is not true. And as far as I can see, philosophy, theology, whatever, it doesn't really kind of have anything that process hasn't got. Maybe it does. Maybe you can inform me on that. I don't know, because as I say, I'm ignorant of all that sort of stuff. The only thing it really has is this but we know nothing spanner, which the scientists are more than aware of anyway. And so any kind of discussion talking about ideas, anyone at any point can just throw this spanner in and say, yes, but we know nothing. You know, this isn't a can of chickpeas. This is something, you know, very different and whatever. And sure, that's true, but it's you know, unless it has really any bearing on the arguments being made, it really just is just a kind of a vandalism of the conversation. And anyone who is aware of that's what's going on, you know, is not going to be too happy about it. Is not going to be too impressed. So I suppose that's all I wanted to say, really.